Hey there, Kenneth French of Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. We're very, very happy you stopped by. Either you're going to watch this or listen to this because you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably an entrepreneur who's either just starting out or you've been around for quite a while and you want to take your business to the next level. You're probably a real estate investor, maybe even a real estate agent, maybe a professional or of some sort, professional advisor of some sort. And well, you are stopping by because you need some valuable advice from one of the top industry leaders there is. Anyway, thank you very much. Once again, Kenneth French, Vast Voice, telling business secrets to entrepreneurs. Really glad that you stopped by.
Hey, Bob Bluhm. Who are you? Give us a little bit of information about Bob Bluhm.
I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I've been an attorney for a long time. I started out as a trial lawyer and switched sides about halfway through my career to taking everything I knew about suing people and now use that information to protect people from lawyers like I used to be. So I am an asset protection attorney and I structure people so that they are insulated from liability, they can lower their taxes and reduce the risk of an IRS audit.
Well, is that important? Is it, let's say I'm a real estate investor, is it important to, make sure that I don't have to worry about creditors? Is it as big of a deal as some people say it is?
It's a very big deal. It's probably a bigger deal than most people even say it is. Because if you are not properly structured, you have unlimited personal liability, which means when anything goes wrong, you will have to bear the full extent of that. Now, people will say, of course, I've got insurance, but insurance always has coverage limits. They have gaps in coverage. So insurance is, of course, a good idea. It's the starting point. But beyond insurance, you want to always have entities that limit your liability. And so that way you can invest with confidence, knowing that you have no personal liability.
So are you saying if I own, let's say I own two houses, let's say income producing houses, and also my own house, if someone comes after me, will they, me personally, or in the rentals, will they be able to get all my assets? Is that basically what you're saying?
Well, of course, it's always fact specific and every case is a little bit different, but that is the worst case outcome, that potentially they could take virtually everything you have. That'll depend upon what the claim is, how big the claim is, what state you live in, what protections are already built into state law. So for instance, in Texas and Florida, no one can take your home. No matter what you've done, or if you have a large judgment against you, your home cannot be seized. But those are only a couple of states, and so you want to make sure that you have really no liability as a result of somebody suing you. They could get a judgment against you, but they couldn't collect on the judgment, and that's the key.
So you mentioned entities. Everyone talks about LLCs. What is an LLC?
Well, an LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. It's one of many entities. Corporations are another, limited partnerships are another, and there are many other types of entities. And a limited liability company is a combination of a limited partnership, which gives the limited liability, and it's also a combination of a corporation, which gives you tax benefits. And so a limited liability company has become the go-to type of entity because it combines the best of both worlds.
I understand. So then, why not throw out one idea of a structure? I like putting together an LLC. Is it a lot of work? Can I do it myself? Should I go to a professional? Should I just, wing it? Give me some ideas there.
Well, it's never a good idea to to try to become a professional when that's not your background. If you're a real estate investor, your job and highest and best use is to go find deals. And our highest and best use is to prepare the legal structure for you so you don't have to play attorney. So it's much more complicated than most people think. Most people have been led to believe it's a simple matter of filling out a form and now you have an LLC. That is very misleading, because once we form the LLC, there are many, many things that have to be done to make that a viable entity, an entity that's actually going to provide the liability protection that you're looking for. So that would include proper drafting, the proper setup in the proper state. It would include having minutes and resolutions, so documentation of what you're doing. It would include mundane things like membership registries and having an organizational meeting, and then recording the minutes of that organizational meeting is when the LLC actually springs into existence. So prior to that, people who go online and just set up a little LLC, frankly, that's probably not going to give you any kind of reasonable liability protection. It will very likely fail.
All the kind of duties that you just mentioned, do you or does your firm do all those duties?
Yes, because entrepreneurs, people who invest in real estate, typically are not focused on those details. That once again, their highest and best use is to go find deals, do deals. That's what we do, is we pay attention to the details that nobody else wants to pay attention to, quite frankly. And we make sure that your entity stays compliant and continues to protect you from personal liability.
So, and then what are the costs then? Let's get down to brass tacks. What are the costs to do, let's just say, an LLC or a structure as an example? Not only with you, but please do tell us how much you charge, but also with just, ABC Lawyer or, one of those online law groups that kind of do put together LLCs as an example.
Well, some lawyers will charge as much as $4,900 for an LLC. Plenty of lawyers will charge somewhere less than that. I've seen $3,000 and $2,500 LLCs. It depends on what goes into the LLC. If it's an LLC where you're doing a syndication, bringing in investors, that would require more time, more effort to organize all the investors, get all the information from them. So that's going to be a more expensive LLC, probably in the $2,500 range, which is quite reasonable. But if somebody is just creating a family-held LLC, that can typically be done in the $1,500 range for professional fees, all the drafting, all the support that would go into that. There's a lot of support that we provide to clients, because the question is, once you have an LLC, what are you going to do with it? And most people are not aware. It's kind of like the dog chasing the car. Once the dog catches the car, what in the world are they going to do? And so once we have an LLC, what has to happen? Do you have to register with the State Department of Revenue? Do you have to open a bank account? Do you have to have an EIN? Do you have to do this? Do you have to record minutes? All of those things are necessary. Do you have to have a business license? Maybe, depends on the type of business and the jurisdiction you're in. So there is a lot of bureaucratic red tape that goes along with setting up an LLC. And most people neglect those very important pieces of it, and that is what we're here to remind them of and help them get through that bureaucratic red tape.
Let's say someone's put together an LLC with another vendor, let's just say, but frankly it's not put together well, or it's been put together too long ago. Do you review those and then fix them up?
Yes, all the time. We review existing LLCs. We determine in kind of a stress test if they're going to provide any degree of liability protection. We fix LLCs on a regular basis, and that means drafting documents that should have been there but never were, or redrafting documents that do not provide the right kind of liability protection. So yeah, we fix LLCs all the time. And then we often repurpose existing LLCs into an overall structure. So we try to reuse an LLC anytime we can.
So you say we, I keep hearing you say we. Do you have other attorneys that work with, let's say me, if I were to come to you as a client, or do I work with someone who's a non-attorney?
No, we have attorneys, paralegals, we have a non-legal staff, but we have a group of people which comprises the asset defense team, and so we're a team of people who are ready to help you solve your problems.
So I saw on your website you do estate planning. What is estate planning?
Estate planning is essentially making sure that your wishes are carried out when we are about to pass from this world, or we have passed. It covers end of life issues, such as what does mom want? Keep me alive forever, or pull the plug, let her die naturally. Things like that reduce family tensions, family stress, because the decision's already been made. It's not a decision that the kids have to make. And a living trust ultimately is part of an estate plan, a very important part, but it avoids probate and deals with numerous scenarios, none of which can anybody predict. So it's better to have a plan in case that scenario develops, rather than have to kind of foist that decision making onto family members in a very stressful time.
But isn't estate planning, or correct me if I'm wrong, is estate planning only for wealthy people?
Oh no, everyone has an estate. Some have large estates, some have small estates, but estate planning sounds like it's only for wealthy people, and a trust sounds like it's only for wealthy people, but really almost everyone should have a trust. Anybody in the middle class should have a trust because they have assets that need to be passed on to another generation. And they're going to have end-of-life issues, most likely.
How often should my estate plan, let's say you put it together or someone else did, how often should my estate plan be reviewed by you, an attorney, or someone else?
Every few years, and especially if it's not on that periodic schedule, it should be reviewed when a major life change happens. If there's been a divorce, if there's been a death in the family, if there's been another child born to the family or adopted. So any of those major life changes would trigger at least a review of the estate plan and make sure that it comports with reality.
So every few years, by that, every 3 years as an example?
Yeah, that's an example. That's good. If nothing has changed, maybe it can go a little longer, but it should be reviewed at least periodically.
So I guess mine that I put together in 2004 should be reviewed?
Probably that'd be a good idea.
How much does it cost to put together an estate plan?
Well, once again, it varies based on the complexity, the family situation, how much detail somebody wants to go into. Some estate plans are $10,000, some are $7,500. Ours are nowhere near that expensive, and yet we still strive to provide a very high level of service. So somebody could plan on somewhere around $2,900 if they're married, or $2,100 if they're single.
I reported earlier that I've seen your website. Can you talk a little bit about your website and also a little bit more about your team and how you and your team add value to me, let's say as a real estate investor needing entities or estate planning?
Well, the website needs to be reviewed. so I'm not going to talk a lot about the website. How's that? But our team really does add a tremendous amount of value because when you're setting up a business, when you're setting up an LLC to open a new part of your business, it's unfamiliar territory. And you're going to run into issues, the answers to which you don't know. And that's what we do, is solve those problems. We are there to provide hands-on service for questions. We don't send you to an FAQ list, frequently asked questions list, where you're going to have to figure it out on your own, or we don't send you to YouTube to try to get an answer and figure it out on your own. We're there to help you and answer your questions as they arise.
We're at a conference, and it seems like everyone has held you in such high regard. Everyone's talked about you as being kind of one of the, hopefully this isn't too much of a stretch, but they've talked about you being one of the fathers, or maybe even the godfather, or maybe even the grandfather of asset protection estate planning. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and why you are different? It's not enough to say you've done legal stuff for X number of years. We want to know a little bit more about you and your process and what makes you different.
Well, I suppose it would be the level of service that we provide, and that is that we are very good at very personalized, customized service. People do get answers to their questions. We try to respond as quickly as possible, and we've developed a very important team that really prizes customer service. One of our mottos is excellent customer service with an LLC thrown in on the side. And we really try to make sure that a customer experience is a good one, that we're going to answer your questions, we're going to be timely, and we're going to be able to help you. And most of our clients are extremely happy. We get a lot of referrals, and that tells us we're doing something right.
And what can you tell us a little bit about AssetDefenseAdvisors.com and what it is becoming down the road?
Asset Defense Advisors, unlike Asset Defense Team, is a joint venture with a terrific group called Vast Solutions Group, which provides an array of financial services that we as a law firm do not provide. Vast can provide tax planning, in other words, not just tax returns, but looking forward to the next coming tax year, and developing a plan for how you're going to pay the least amount of taxes. Vast can create defined benefit plans, 401ks, IRAs, Roths, captive insurance companies, and can provide very hands-on service. Once again, one of the reasons that we decided to joint venture with Vast Solutions Group to form Asset Defense Advisors is because we both have that strong culture of wanting to provide hands-on concierge level service to people who have questions and who need some guidance.
Now, I know that you work with a lot of kind of coaches in the real estate industry. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about how you are different in potentially helping a coach to expand their business?
Well, if a coach is working with potential real estate investors, those real estate investors are going to need entities. They're going to need some liability protection, and that's what we do. We, first of all, understand the coach's program, which is vitally important. We understand what they're trying to do, the way their students are going to be operating. Are they going to be doing wholesale deals? Are they going to be doing flips? Are they being taught how to open short-term rental properties? Are they being taught how to buy long-term rental properties? Are they using creative financing? Are they doing subject to deals? And whatever the model is, we tailor and customize the legal structures to fit that model. And while it's still an LLC, there are so many different permutations of an LLC, so many different variations within an LLC, that we're able to design those LLCs with just the right level of sophistication, level of complexity, etc., to serve that particular client.
Now, we're almost finishing up. Now, it's obviously there's been great information. But I want to know a little bit more. How does one get a hold of you, Bob?
You can call our office at 945-542-7738, or you can go to our website, which would be info@assetdefenseteam.com, and there you would be able to fill out, just give us basically your name, phone number, and email address, and we'll be glad to contact you and see if there's a way that we can help you.
Is there anything else that me, as let's say an investor, maybe a real estate investor, what else would you think would be helpful as a closing comment here?
Well, as a real estate investor, once again, I'd say get yourself structured properly, whether it's us or some other professional. Make sure that you have, that you thoroughly understand what you have, what type of entity you have, what it does for you, how you're supposed to use that entity, and that's critical. We design entities with a very specific purpose, and you want to use that entity for that particular purpose. So when you have that background, when you have that structure, that legal liability protection and tax mitigation, that gives you the confidence to go forward and do the deals that are out there everywhere and be a success in real estate.
Awesome, Bob. Thanks for spending the time answering some of these questions.
You bet.